we are all equal. It's time that we're all heard. Welcome to A Voice for All. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Jamila Gamble. And if you could see by my attire, we are going to get fit here today on A Voice for All. Our episode is focusing on wellness, especially when it comes to frontline staff and parents. And there will be a bit of information too for your child or your adult child on today's segment. As a frontline staff, it's very important that I maintain a healthy balance in my personal wellness. So aside from me doing the show and being a teacher and being a family consultant, believe it or not, I'm actually a fitness instructor. I do fitness to help others, but I also do it for myself. Working in a kindergarten class, for those of you who are parents and you know how it may be in a classroom of 28 kindergartens, it could be a pretty hectic day. So I often do look forward to going to the gym, letting out some steam, getting my energy up, and working out with a group of fantastic people. If you have not taken part in a group fitness class, I encourage it. Maybe you're not too sure if group fitness is for you. Maybe you haven't been to the gym, and that's okay. On today's show, we have an awesome guest who's going to give us some tidbits on yoga. Yoga, to some people, I know for me, it used to be quite intimidating because as tall and I guess fit as I may appear, I don't think I'm the most flexible person. And you don't necessarily have to be the most flexible person to do yoga. So our guest today is going to give us some information and some insight on how you can do yoga for yourself and do yoga with your child or your clients or the programs that you work with. If you're interested in getting in touch with me, my email is missjams.pcss@gmail.com, or you could tweet me at missjamspccs. I always look forward to hearing your feedback. What do you do to get fit? Let me know. There's so many trendy fitness activities going on in our community, from Zumba to yoga to cardio boot camp, you name it, it's out there. So there's plenty of choices, but maybe there's something that I haven't heard of and you like to share with us at the show. We're always looking forward to hearing what your feedback is. This is A Voice for All. We are going to be focusing on your personal fitness, but also if you're an individual who has special needs, maybe we could give you some insight too. Back to what I was saying in terms of my personal wellness, I find that if I'm not eating properly, maintaining a healthy diet, if I'm not working out regularly, that I'm not myself at work. Being a frontline staff, even for parents, it's important that we maintain a healthy sense of self. It's impossible to help others if we're not feeling good about our own personal wellness. So I encourage you to look into yourself and figure out, you know, maybe there is something I need to do. I started working out because I needed to get active. I wanted to kind of step outside of what I do for a living, which is being a teacher and a consultant, and I want to do something different, meet a different group of people. And I've met an amazing group of people being a fitness instructor, from individuals who have disabilities to their parents and to also other frontline staff who are coming after a hard day's work and they need to let off some steam. So hopefully with today's segment, after hearing my story, hearing the guests that we have today, you will figure out what kind of wellness activities you could do for yourself. It's very, very important that you maintain a healthy, well-balanced lifestyle. You don't necessarily have to be lifting those weights and running, you know, marathons. It's little things that could help you, like it's helped myself, get into the workout, get into feeling good about yourself and being 100%. On A Voice for All, that is my goal today, is to help you figure out what can you do to maintain your personal wellness. Like I said, you can feel free to contact me on Twitter, missjamspccs, or you can email me, missjams.pcss@gmail.com. Share your story with me. Like I said, I didn't even foresee myself being a fitness instructor. It's just something that came to be, and I'm thankful that I've had that opportunity because I think it's helped me as an all-around teacher and consultant. Thank you for tuning into A Voice for All. We have a great show for you. After the break, we're going to go to our community segment and hear what you have to say about your personal wellness. This is A Voice for All. Okay, so after this part, this is going to be our community kind of segment where we go on the street break, and then that's our 11-minute interview. So we're going to lose the table. We'll do some chair. Like Alex has been telling me, related to your own personal story. Like, what do you do for wellness? How you find, doing this keeps you balanced, keeps you relaxed. You encourage, the clients you work with. I'm not sure if you work with anybody who maybe works in this field and you're seeing the tension they may experience and things like that. So whatever you could think of in that sense of how it could benefit people, and like I said, I'll tie it into how it. Hello, welcome back to Voice for All. I am your host, Jamila. If you're just tuning in, welcome. I hope you've had a fantastic week so far. Today, our show is about wellness. Like I said, if you could see by my attire, it's a little bit more dressed down because we're going to get fit on today's episode. As a frontline staff, as parents, even individuals, your healthy sense of well-being all falls on your personal wellness. What do you do to make yourself feel healthy, good, and fit? We went straight to the Peel Streets to ask people, what do you do to keep yourself going? With everything that's coming to us in life, from work stress to family worries, financial worries, oftentimes our personal wellness takes a back seat. So we asked you, what do you do? And it was really interesting to hear what people had to say. Some people listen to music. Some people like to go out and have a nice meal. Some people just like to be by themselves. Take this moment while you're watching this clip to ask yourself, what do you do for your personal wellness? And if you don't do something, maybe you should try. Maybe after hearing what these viewers have to say, you will figure out, that's something I could do to make myself feel better. So this is our community voice segment. If you ever see us on the street with the red microphone, don't be afraid. Come to us. We love to hear what you have to say. Once again, my name is Jamila Gamble. Feel free to contact me, Ms. Jams PCCS, for my Twitter, or you can email me at msjams.pcss@gmail.com. Let me know what you do for your personal wellness. Even though I am dressed rather fiddly, a nice bowl of ice cream keeps me happy. So let's hear what these viewers have to say on the streets for their personal wellness.
And coming home with my brother who has a disability, I do experience a lot of burnout because I'm on a full-time schedule and I also have a part-time job. And sometimes my mom, who's at home with him, she needs a break. So even if I'm tired, I still have to come and help her out.
I was a university student, so you definitely burn out when you're working and going to school and you have no rest time. Really all you have to do is, for me, I took a break literally from school, did not go to school for an entire semester, cut back on hours, and just kind of re-embrace fun and family and relaxing.
I personally haven't really experienced a burnout, but I know friends that do, and they play sports or they just have a lot of things to do in their downtime that kind of compensates for all the hard work that they do.
I have experienced burnout while I was attending college, and for my personal well-being and wellness, I just basically tried to take a moment, a time out for myself, have a coffee, regather my thoughts, and just, I guess, soothe myself with music.
I think as a mother, I definitely experienced burnout, and for me personally, I find journaling to be something that is very beneficial to my well-being, as well as listening to music and being in nature and just enjoying myself, my time, just to regroup myself.
I've never experienced burnout myself. For my wellness, I eat healthy, aside from the coffee. I eat really healthy, and I make sure that I exercise at least 3 times a week.
I've actually experienced burnout a few times, just mentally, physically, and emotionally, just regarding maybe work, employment, everyday life, stress. Just trying to figure out things in a new way of life, and looking for resources to help me out to get myself back on track.
So we had some amazing people give us their insight as to what they do for their own personal wellness. There was a variety of things I heard. One speaker says she journals, she goes in nature. One person said they like to enjoy their coffee. Other people like to listen to music. Some people haven't even experienced burnout, and that's a really important thing to be aware of, because some people don't recognize that they are burnt out. They don't know what the symptoms are. So I encourage you, if you're feeling that maybe, one day you're feeling upbeat and then maybe a couple weeks later you're not your normal self, take a moment, like one of the speakers said, to look into yourself and realize what may be causing this feeling, what may be causing me to feel this way. If you didn't get some points from there, always feel free to contact me at missjams.pcss@gmail.com. After our break, we're going to have Gillian B, who's going to give us some insight on healthy eating and some yoga moves. You're all watching A Voice for All, and I'm your host, Jamila Gamble. Welcome back to A Voice for All. I am your host, Jamila Gamble, and this is our segment where we are interviewing our guest for today, Gillian B, who's going to be sharing some insight with us on clean eating and yoga. As I mentioned, we are all suited up and ready to work out here, and maybe if you like to run in your bedroom and get changed too, you just might have to, because we're going to do a few poses. This week, our episode is about wellness and what do you do to help with burnout. In our previous segment, you saw us on the Brampton streets asking viewers, what do you do? And you saw a lot of people had different suggestions as to what they do to make themselves feel good, whether it's shopping, having a cup of coffee, writing, being in nature. As I mentioned, my guilty pleasure is having a nice bowl of ice cream. That keeps me pretty calm. But what do you do to keep yourself calm? Let us know here at the station. You can email me at missjams.pcss@gmail.com, or you can tweet me at missjamspccs. So let's go to our guest, Gillian.
Hi there.
Welcome to A Voice for All.
Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Well, I'm a vegan yogini, and I also went to school for nutrition. So I have a health and wellness blog that I write about health and wellness all the time, and I cook a lot and help clients with their nutrition, and also private clients with yoga, group classes with yoga, anything that whole vein.
So we invited you to come on the show today because, one, you have an amazing background, but two, within this field of disabilities with parents and individuals themselves, a lot of parents are turning towards gluten-free diets. So what can you tell us about that?
Well, the gluten-free diet is just becoming so popular these days, but for good reason. So what happens is essentially we're just inundated with wheat from every direction, and it's put into products to make, you know, the texture better and whatever. But all of this wheat has changed since the wheat 100 years ago.
Right.
It's just, you know, over the years been genetically modified to be better and more, produce more and all of that. So we're getting it from all angles, and it's just really important that as it's coming at us, we need to kind of take a step back and be more mindful of our consumption, or just cut it out completely, and that's what the gluten-free diet gives us.
So how does it affect one's behavior or their mood? Does it make them feel more sluggish?
It's going to be a little bit different for everyone, but especially like those with disabilities, it can, you know, be a little bit more impactful because a lot of times people with disabilities have digestive issues. And digestive issues can either be caused by gluten or can be aggravated by gluten as well, because it's extremely allergenic. So, you know, it can, if your digestion is off, it can kind of really affect your brain and your mood and all of that.
Right.
So we see that a lot with autism and just people in general. Some people have, you know, brain fog from eating gluten and all of that. So it can affect everyone on a ton of different levels.
Right.
Yeah.
And as you said, with autism, gluten-free diets has become quite the popular diet of choice for parents when they're, I guess, preparing meals for their children. Some parents have reported a decrease in symptoms and behaviors with their children. I'm not promoting gluten-free diets for all children. That is, it's individually based, so I always encourage people to ask their physician or a nutritionist, is this right for myself or is this right for my child? With gluten-free diets, I find some people find it difficult to prepare meals. You know, we're so easy to getting easy fixes here and there. How could you prepare an easy meal with a gluten-free diet?
Well, it's just about substituting, really. And that's what kind of stumps people, is because all they know is, you know, bread. All they know is, and so just to kind of step out of the box and explore some new, different food options. It's really easy, actually. So, for instance, when you're substituting wheat, you want to look for gluten-free breads, things that are made with rice or made with almond flour or coconut flour, anything like that. Then as well, you know, just looking for gluten that's hidden in ingredients as well. So it's in a lot of sauces, soy sauce, barbecue sauce, you name it. So if you just have to get more familiar with the substitutes, but as well reading labels and really getting in there. You want to make
sure. Work in.
Of course, but once you get into the habit, it's no big deal. It's just a matter of getting over that initial stump.
So imagine if I'm a parent and I'm preparing an easy lunch for my child. I'm trying to kind of change their diet and swing more into the gluten-free diet. What's an easy lunch I could pack for my child?
Well, you can get rice wraps, so you know those little tortillas? You can get those. Those are rice. At the health food store is a great place to shop because they have a lot more of the gluten-free variety stuff or, you know, vegan stuff or dairy-free, whatever. So you could make that. If you're eating meat, you could put some, you know, slices of turkey or something in there. I'm not too big on meat. But you can put whatever you want in there and just wrap it up like a normal wrap. That would be a great snack or lunch for a child. But as well, like when you're not eating as much wheat, you want to look towards vegetables and fruits a little bit more as well.
And I was just going to make reference to that because one may question, okay, if I'm going to go onto a gluten-free diet, is that more expensive? Is that more costly? You know, how can how can I work around that and still be nutritious?
Gluten-free diet and gluten-free products, so like, you know, a bag of gluten-free pretzels versus a bag of regular pretzels is definitely going to be a lot more money. And when you're going to like specialty food stores and looking for specialty products, it's going to be more money. But that being said, you can buy things like, you know, brown rice. That's not going to be too much more expensive and use that as a substitute. What I like to tell people to eat or suggest is quinoa. Quinoa is completely gluten-free, but as well a source of protein, which is great for kids and everyone as well.
Okay, so we've got the nutrition down pat. Let's go into why we're dressed in our yoga clothes. So working with individuals personally who have disabilities, I often have a few clients who are in wheelchairs. And it's difficult, you know, depending on their size, if they're a child, if they're an adult, for them to get that exercise in. So what are some moves you could recommend to us if someone is, you know, immobile? Not necessarily in a wheelchair, but maybe, you know, their legs aren't that strong or they can't do as many poses on the ground. What are some things we could do in our chair?
So I'd like to start by just kind of sitting up at the edge of your chair, because lots of times if you have handles on the sides, that can kind of get in the way. So planting your feet down onto the ground, making sure that your knees are right over top of your ankles and sitting up nice and tall. So what that means is pulling those low belly muscles in and really stacking the belly up one section at a time. Heart lifting high, shoulders coming back.
Okay.
Good. So we'll just take a few deep breaths here. Place your hands just on your legs.
I'm going to try to relax.
Good. And then we're going to inhale, reach the arms up, look up towards your hands.
All right.
Good. Interlace your fingers, palms together. You're going to exhale, side bend over to the right.
Okay. So if I'm not as mobile and able to do those moves, how high can I lift my arms?
If you can't lift your arms
If
up?
I can't lift them too high, can I still modify that move to?
Of course, if you any which way,
here?
even if you're just bending like this or putting your hand on the side, and you know, you can modify each pose. And that's what's so awesome about yoga, is every single pose can be modified to suit different abilities.
Right. And let that be a testament that for those of you who are scared to try yoga and you're wondering, listen, I can't get my leg over my head, or I'm in a wheelchair and I'm not able to do those moves, whoever your instructor is, or maybe if you're doing this on your own, it can be modified. It could be modified to whatever your abilities are. If you could only get your arms up to here, that's okay. You know, we could still do movements nice and light. The point is, whatever bit of movement you do, it's going towards something, even if it may not be strenuous and you're doing it for an hour on end, you're doing a little bit of movement. So what about the neck and the head? Oftentimes I find people who are immobile and they're in a chair, perhaps, you know, their head, there's a lot of pressure. Is there any kind of head stretches we can do?
Yeah, so a nice and easy one is to just drop your right ear towards your right shoulder and let the ear feel nice and heavy, but as well keep pulling the shoulder blades together and back behind you.
Okay.
So you're going to feel a nice stretch in the opposite side of the neck. Good, and then take your nose and point the nose more towards the shoulder, and keep reaching the shoulder blades down, pushing the heart up, and then you can slowly lead with your chin and roll the chin across the collarbone to come all the way forward and then over to the other side. So then your nose lands over your other shoulder. You hold for a breath or so, and then your ear, and then you've stretched the neck out quite completely.
Oh, perfect. So to wrap that up, we've covered the neck, we've covered our back. Have you ever experienced burnout, and would you encourage, you know, just quickly, we have just a minute, would you recommend yoga for something for everybody to do?
Yeah, for sure. Yoga is so great because it's just a stress relieving sport, essentially.
Right.
So you can, you know, get into a yoga class or just do yoga videos at home, which are a great option if you're, you know, having trouble financially. And you just, you know, do the yoga, and it's the long, slow breathing in yoga that really helps to cool and relax all emotions and everything.
Beautiful.
As well, Shavasana at the end is where you're just laying there and trying to just, you know, follow your breath and stay in the body, and that's wonderful. That's a form of meditation that most people don't realize.
Right.
So meditating is great, but some people find that just a little too daunting, so that's a great place to start.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we've had Gillian. She's come on and talked to us about clean eating and yoga. So we've given you 2 awesome tips to help you work on your own personal wellness. If you have any information, we've provided you with Gillian's information and mine. So hopefully you've learned some awesome things about what you could do for your own personal wellness. And once again, thank you for having Gillian on the show. And you're watching A Voice for All. Welcome back to Voice for All. I am your host, Jamila Gamble, and hopefully after watching our last segment, you're feeling a little bit more relaxed. This week, our episode is on wellness, and we are focusing on burnout. Hopefully, you've picked up a few tidbits from our community voice segments to having Gillian on our show. You're able to realize, maybe there are some things I need to do within myself. Gillian brought up some great points on gluten-free diets and yoga that we could do at home. You don't necessarily have to go to a studio. For those of you who are worried about the cost, you could easily go to your local library, go on Google, plenty of resources to get DVDs or instructional tapes and clips on YouTube for you to do your own personal wellness at home. The key is to find out what works best for you. For me, I like to dance. I'm a fitness dance instructor, so dancing, burning out that energy, burning off that stress is what works for me. It's important you find what works for you and not necessarily what your friend is doing. In order for you to be happy and feeling balanced, you got to find out maybe your diets, your exercise, the people you have in your personal circle. What factors are affecting or helping you be and feel better about yourself. If you have any questions or maybe you need more advice on your personal wellness, do not hesitate to email me at missjams.pcss@gmail.com, or you could tweet me at missjamspccs. I would love to help you as a fitness instructor in the community. That is my job, to reach out to you. Hopefully after watching this show, you are able to figure out what you need to do within yourself. Personal wellness is key. Do not ever let yourself get to the point of burnout. And on this show, that was our goal, to help you. Thank you so much for watching Voice for All. I am your host, Jamila Gamble, and I will see you on our next episode. Have a great week.